All right, welcome to Two Idiots Talking Sports. I'm Chance Del Fuego, and with me as always is
Drunk Tim.
And then we add a third. We still have the acronym of TITS, I believe, when you have a third, because it's still Three Idiots Talk Sports, so it's still TITS.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Total Recall.
And with us is Blair Smith, the one, the only, and yes, just like the three-titted lady on Total Recall, which they remade, and they still did the three-titted lady.
That was iconic.
Yeah, you couldn't do that movie without it. It still
thing.
sucked. Like, their version still sucked, but
It had Kate Beckinsale in it, dude. I watched it just for that.
Well,
that is one of the most smoking hot babes I've ever seen in my entire life.
she was pretty amazing. So was Jessica Biel, too.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
They were both in there. Oh, my goodness.
I skipped out the second Total Recall just because I didn't think there would be a three-titted woman. So
There was.
that's my
Spoiler
fault.
alert.
There were
You
people.
ruined it for me now.
Sorry. Oh, plot twist.
Plot twist.
Yeah, just when you think she's not coming out.
Somebody watching that entire movie just to see the three-titted lady, that blows my mind.
Oh.
But, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised in
So
this day
do
and
I
age.
blow your mind then?
I would rather you blow my mind than something else.
Oh, wow. Because,
But-
no, once I saw that, I just stopped the movie and went and did something else.
Like, it's like time to exercise. Like,
Well, again, we are three idiots talking sports today. This is July 22nd, 2018. We are at the On the Border Studios here in Oklahoma City. Thanks to On the Border for giving us a space to be able to do our thing, our idiocy and our fun and whatever other words and adjectives you want to throw out there. So if you're ready, let's talk some sports. We're gonna start talking about what all's happened this week, and then we're gonna finish off. We're gonna do start our NFL preview and preview all the AFC teams and take it all the way to the AFC Championship game and give our predictions.
This is gonna be
and we'll
hardcore.
see if we're right, dead on, or just completely off. So we'll see how that goes. But
this is going to be official. This is going to be...
yeah, we're going to actually write this stuff down. It'll be fun.
And we'll see how we do at the end of the year.
Yeah. So this week, just like the summer's been, summer of free agency. So we have to go into that. The biggest free agency trade basically to happen is Kawhi Leonard is traded against his will to the Toronto Raptors. And what do the Spurs get? The Spurs get DeMar DeRozan from the Raptors. So...
to take Tony Parker's place, I imagine.
well, no, DeMar's more of a two, whereas Parker played the point. But he would take over the two-guard role like Manu Ginobili, somebody like that. But Kawhi, it's funny, the picture that they show where he's meeting with the GMs and the upper management of Toronto, he does not look thrilled to be there, so to speak.
It's what you get.
When has Kawhi ever looked thrilled?
That is true. You never really see him smile like a Russell Westbrook or something like that, you know?
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you know, but Toronto pretty much did DeMar DeRozan kind of dirty. I know it's a business, but even within the same month, they told DeMar, hey, we're not trading you. You're our guy. We're not trading you.
Franchise tag, I
Oh,
guess.
yeah. And DeMar's actually been very loyal to Toronto. 2 years ago, he had an opportunity to go back to his home. He's from Compton, and he had an opportunity to go back home to the Lakers. And he said, no, I love it here. I want to stay in Toronto. He basically pulled, like for us, the Russell Westbrook move. Hey, I'm staying here. I'm loyal to you guys. Much love, right? Well, the organization assured DeMar DeRozan, hey, we're not trading you. You're our guy. And then, bam, you're getting traded. And we're getting Kawhi Leonard, who doesn't want to be here.
It's kind of like what Oklahoma City owners did to the city of Seattle. Like, no, we're not moving you. We're just, we're trying to get you a new stadium. like they knew that there wasn't going to get a new stadium built.
No.
So.
Everybody knew from the moment that Oklahoma City stepped in and bought that franchise that they were moving. Now, DeRozan, when Toronto comes out and says to him, "We're not going to move you," they probably truly envision that, yeah, he is the cornerstone of our franchise for the future. But then all of a sudden, you've got this nice little silver nugget and a gold nugget shows up. Well, I'm going to get rid of my silver nugget and go for my gold nugget. You're going to take Kawhi.
Because he's one of the top
they didn't
10
have
players
any
in the league, probably.
Yeah, I don't have any intention of trading you, but now that I see that I have something better, I'm going for it.
But is it worth it?
It is a business.
Is it worth it? I mean, let's face it. Kawhi has already shown that he had a real problem with the Spurs, where he decided he wasn't even going to play in the playoffs. And then now he's kind of already made it a little bit known he doesn't even want to be in Toronto. So why would you give up your star? Now I know he didn't do well in the playoffs. DeMar did a crappy job in the playoffs for him. They got swept by the Cavs. But why would you? It seems like a big risk. Like you're giving up your star now to get a guy who doesn't even want to be there, and it's on a 1-year contract.
It's a huge risk, but you also have to look what Oklahoma City accomplished with Paul George.
Yeah.
And, on a 1-year deal, we're going to show him and sell him on the city and the culture and the franchise. Problem is you can do that in Oklahoma City. You cannot do that in Canada. This guy...
Yeah, well, we're a small town place.
He's an American citizen. From now on, everywhere he goes to get back to where he wants to be entertained or whatever, he's going to have to fly away. He's going to have an active passport all the time. With their NBA players, I understand they do this anyway, but it's still a pain in the ass for travel purposes.
Yeah.
Toronto, you cannot sell an NBA player from America on Toronto as the promised land. It's not going to happen. He'll be gone in a year.
No, I mean, Chris Bosh left. He went to Miami. You had Vince Carter eventually get sick of it. He left. I mean, from all I've heard is Toronto's a great city. It's really awesome. I would not know. I've never been. I've never even been up northeast at all. So I couldn't say from experience. I'm sure it's an awesome town. But if he has his heart set, I want to be in L.A., it doesn't matter how great Toronto is. It just seems like he really just wants to be in L.A., and he knows if he's on this 1-year deal. I think the Paul George thing is a little bit different because he came in with Russell Westbrook. I think the fans were great, of course, but I think Russell Westbrook was one of the main reasons Paul George decided to stay. Was I could play with this guy who's committed, and we can play together and have this thing.
He's never played with a superstar before. Kawhi's
going in with this organization that's had some success regular season-wise, but hasn't really done much. And, you got Kyle Lowry at the point, but he's kind of faded in the playoffs too. It's funny that DeMar DeRozan gets all the crap for sucking in the playoffs. Kyle Lowry is gone missing too. I mean, there's a reason you get swept by the Cavaliers in the playoffs. It's like your whole team forgets how to play basketball. But
not only a Cavaliers team, but almost like a skeleton team. Cavaliers.
Yeah, I don't think Kyle Lowry is going to be able to convince Leonard to stay. But I mean, maybe they're thinking beyond. Maybe they're thinking chess moves. Thinking, well, maybe we move beyond this. But boy, it just seems like a big risk to me.
Joke's gonna be on them, dude. It's gonna happen.
You think it'll end poorly for Toronto?
Oh yeah, they just made a really stupid move. I mean, with Paul George, because that's what we're talking about. Paul George comes to Oklahoma City. Like you said, he gets to play with Russell Westbrook. Not only top 5, but top 3 or 4 players in the world. I mean, and when you come to Oklahoma City, you're a god. When you go to Toronto, they got the baseball team, the Toronto Blue Jays that won the World Series back in the 90s with Oklahoma's Joe Carter and all that kind of stuff.
You got hockey.
Yeah, and
remember hockey's
number
king
1
up there.
over there. So, it's like apples to oranges. You can't sit there and compare the Paul George in Oklahoma City versus the Toronto stuff because, for one thing, Oklahoma City Thunder have Sam Presti, who is, as we've talked about on this podcast before, to me is a genius. He's the Moneyball of probably any sport, basketball, football. I would put him If he knew football and all that kind of same stuff that he does with basketball, I would hire him in a football franchise any day of the week.
I want to use that to transition to talking about Sam Presti being a genius. Also a genius move this week. The Thunder are able to now officially get rid of the Carmelo contract. They're able to. I still don't understand how the Hawks do well in this situation, but they essentially get rid of Carmelo to the Hawks, but then the Hawks basically buy him out, and now he's a free agent to go wherever he wants. So the Thunder have literally now saved almost nearly $100 million in this equation.
I believe it's $83 million.
Yeah.
Towards their cap,
the luxury tax. They've saved all this money in this in these moves. It's absolutely genius. And you would never believe in a million years that anything like this would happen. You're like, no, they're stuck with that, man.
And they got younger and faster.
They got younger. They got faster by getting rid of, the addition by subtraction, and they got rid of the money piece. I mean, absolute genius, absolute brilliance.
And it makes me wonder, did Sam Presti know he was going to do that whenever he got him to Oklahoma City?
Oh, you have to wonder. I don't know if he would admit to that or not.
I would never, ever play a game of chess against Sam Presti in my entire life. No matter how much I studied and Bobby Fischered that crap, there's no way, ever.
I still don't even know, like, the Hawks, I think they got a pick out of the deal.
They got They got a first-round draft.
But you're buying out basically his $28 million. Carmelo, now this is sad. This is a sad statement on Melo. You're being paid now. I mean, you're getting paid no matter what, but you're getting paid $28 million to go away. That's what's happening. Think about that. We don't want you.
Like on a
the
cruise?
Hawks. Not even the Hawks. The Hawks are like, we will buy you out to get on out of here. I think that's absolutely amazing. So, but yeah, they get a pick, and
it makes me feel like the Hawks, CEO, person in charge of basketball operations, is the exact opposite of Sam Presti.
It looks like it.
Sam Presti just teabagged that person.
Wow. Nice.
It's a good analogy.
That's a perfect analogy.
Well, last week we talked about how
checkmate.
We talked about how we may not like it, but there's some organizations that are just smarter than others. Like, unfortunately, with the Warriors and what they're doing, man, what they're doing is smart. Oklahoma City, the things they're doing are very, very smart. I mean, we are playing above our expectations as far as in the front office. I mean, the rest of the league has got to be impressed.
And maybe a little scared.
But then you have your organizations. Dare I say the Sacramento Kings, dare I say the Atlanta Hawks. There's a reason why there's such a gap. It's not, some people are quick to go, well, cheating. Sometimes people are just flat out smarter, and you're just left holding what you're holding, going, oh, wow, I look like a real moron right now.
But you also have to consider, we don't know what's going to go on with Schroeder. We do have a legal issue with him, and even though we don't have we have most of the details, we still don't know whether they're going to charge with a felony or a misdemeanor on this assault charge.
Yeah.
But behind the scenes, what made Atlanta deem him so invaluable that they would rather get rid of him and pay somebody else $30 million to go away?
Mm-hmm.
There may be something that we don't know about this guy, either being a locker room cancer or that somebody else within the Atlanta judicial system has said, get rid of him.
Well, I can bet you that the Thunder know about it. I'm sure they've looked into, and they may not even. Well, they may not even plan on him even playing at all. The whole idea was just to get rid of the
Thunder. May not care. The Thunder, for them, the Thunder, it's a gamble, yes, but no matter what, we've saved ourselves $80 million, and we're taking a chance that we're going to get a couple of players in return, as opposed to not saving the $80 million and keeping Carmelo, which was not, he wasn't helping us anyway.
Well, you say getting the other players from the draft?
No. We're getting Schroeder from Atlanta, and we're getting TLC.
I've heard of him a little bit.
TLC. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his last name. He goes by the initial TLC. Anyway, we're getting him and deal with the 76ers.
Yeah.
Well, all I know
It's
is
a 3-team trade.
which happens a lot lately.
Right.
I mean, this is not something that we grew up with. But in my opinion, and I feel like it's a good one, like every man does, but in Sam Presti, I trust.
Yeah.
He will figure something out. If these guys suck, he'll develop them like he did Jerry and Grant, I think is his name.
Jeremy Grant, yes.
Jeremy Grant.
Yes.
Oh my God. Please keep developing this dude. This guy's going to be a superstar.
He's going to start.
Holy
Yeah.
crap, this guy's good.
Yeah.
Like, he made Melo say, no, he's good. Like, let him play.
Well, and then the flip side, I was talking about Kawhi's viewpoint earlier, kind of flipping back. Sorry, but I didn't even think about the viewpoint from DeMar DeRozan. What does he do now with the Spurs? You wonder. You would think from the outside looking in, he's going into a good place in San Antonio that's well coached.
The best coach of all time,
But
maybe.
does he really even want to be there now? Do the Spurs still have a shot at the playoffs? Are they
Yes.
contenders
Spurs
at
always
all?
have a shot at the playoffs.
Yes.
As long as they have
Spurs-
Greg Popovich, they are going to have a shot at the playoffs.
Agreed.
Okay.
And he's going to be
He's
able
done-
to take
he's
that
done better-
talent and mold it into
He's
what
done
he
a
wants
better
it
job
to be.
coaching with less talent than most in NFL, NBA franchises have in the last 15 years.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. You just wonder if he'll be on board after now feeling a little bit betrayed by the organization that just promised him the world, or basically that he's their guy, and now he's going here. I don't know. It's just it's a tale of lack of trust now. You've got two guys now that are leaving this trust of their organizations, going to the same organization that they didn't trust. I don't know.
Is is the next headline going to be is Pops quitting?
Well, some do wonder. They wonder if he's got a couple of years left and then he's going to retire, maybe.
How old is he? Does anybody know?
I believe he's close to 70.
I was about to say, he's got to be pushing 70.
Yeah, he's up there.
But Pops also strikes me as a guy. He's not a shoot. He's not a shoot from the hip type of guy. When he's ready to retire, he's going to announce it. I see it coming as this will be my final year type of an announcement, and coach through the season.
Absolutely, yeah.
He always reminds me of the Belichick of basketball. No emotion, nothing.
Yeah,
Just
on to Cincinnati.
like they should send his ass to the Wizard of Oz. He can fix him. Only he can. Shit.
Follow the yellow brick road.
No, imagine Pops and fucking Belichick like holding hands, running down the yellow brick road, and like that's got to be a meme somewhere in there.
All right. So also this week we had the Major League Baseball All-Star Game.
Major League Baseball.
We also had the Home Run Derby. Bryce Harper wins the Home Run Derby, kind of in dramatic fashion. Actually, it was one of the better home run derbies in a long time. He was kind of tied up, and then he goes off and hits 9 straight home runs to win the whole thing, to win the Home Run Derby, and kind of is sporting like the American flag sleeves. And
Is this the guy that had his dad pitching to him?
yes. And so you had all that. You had all
That was like
drama.
some Field of Dreams shit.
Yeah, it kind of brought some good feel vibes back to baseball. And honestly, it's weird that Bryce Harper was even in it. Last week we talked about how there was a lot of guys on the Home Run Derby. It's like you don't even recognize who that guy is. But I feel like it was good for baseball that Bryce Harper, a name somebody can actually recognize, actually won the Home Run Derby. Even though honestly he's having an awful year. That's kind of going under the radar. But the guy's barely hitting above 200. Yeah, I mean he is, and this is in a contract year too. So like. Typically your contract year, your numbers are inflated so you can get the biggest contract possible.
You do as much steroids as possible.
Yeah, you just shoot up as much as you can, and then get your pay on.
You got to learn how to pop the vein just right.
But he's doing it the opposite way. He's sucking pretty bad this year for the Nationals. So there's even wonder if they may end up trading him. Even an iconic guy like Harper, but.
Maybe he might fit better somewhere else.
He could just went out of Washington.
I've never understood,
He's
to
pulling
me,
an NBA player thing.
to me, I feel like, because we were talking statistics on one of our podcasts, and you're not a big statistics guy, and I think I had mentioned that I feel like baseball is one of those sports that statistics are on, no
Yeah.
matter what. Like this person's on base percentage versus a right-hander versus a left-hander, their batting average versus, their all that stuff. It's
all about the numbers.
It's totally mathematical, science, all that kind of stuff.
Even to get in the Hall of Fame, it's all about numbers. You have to hit certain types of numbers in order to be even considered for the Hall of Fame. Whereas, like the NBA or NFL, it's a little more loose. I mean, it's still pretty strict, but compared to baseball, it just seems like if you're under like 300 home runs, a lot of times it's like, you're good, but nah, don't even consider you.
Like you have to pay somebody off to get in here. But the thing I was gonna say is, to me, I don't understand the idea because I just said that I don't understand, I said that maybe it might be a better fit for him somewhere else. But offensively speaking, in the game of baseball, I don't understand how that even works. Maybe the lineup and everything, maybe that has something to do with it. I can only imagine that being a better fit somewhere else in baseball might work more so for that person on the defensive side.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Well, the biggest story coming out of baseball this week with the All-Star game, and the All-Star game was the All-Star game and everything else, which I, as a fan, I like, but I understand that there's people that don't like baseball, and there's a lot of people that really hate on All-Star games in general, whether it be the Pro Bowl or the NBA or whatever. But the big story this week was the marketing and where baseball is right now, and the commissioner, Rob Manfred, came out and basically kind of threw Mike Trout under the bus.
The greatest baseball player in the world right now?
Oh, yeah. And putting up numbers we haven't seen just obscene numbers. But essentially saying he doesn't do a lot of social media. He kind of keeps to himself. It's just weird. It's like it would be weird, like if back in the day, if whoever the commissioner of football was back in the day, when if they would say, well, Barry Sanders is great and all, but he doesn't really get out there and promote anything. It's like Barry Sanders was great. And, Barry Sanders was to himself. He wasn't a go promote myself kind of guy at all.
Still is.
He's still. That's just who.
Always will be.
That's just who he is. And guess what? That's what Mike Trout is. So why are you going to change that?
He promoted stuff on the field.
Yeah, he was watchable. He was great to watch on the field. So is Major League Baseball, do you think they're kind of feeling like maybe they're dying or dwindling?
They've been dying for years, and they've just been trying to throw their fish hooks out there and say, whatever we can do to try and take some of the viewership away from the NFL and the NBA. Please, the steroid thing is killing us. We're that close. We're melting!
It's not even the steroid thing. The steroid issue is almost a thing of the past. It's just that baseball is, it hasn't been America's pastime forever. Football, obviously, the NFL has superseded every other major national sport. Now the NBA is climbing and catching up to that, but they're just leaving Major League Baseball in the dust. There's no action in it.
They've taken baseball out of the Olympics and then put it back in and then taken it out, it seems like,
because nobody cared about it. I hate to say that. I love
the
baseball.
Japanese love
baseball.
baseball
is exciting it's an exciting spectator sport. It's NASCAR. You can sit there and go and enjoy it live and in person out in the sun with a dog and a beer, but you can't watch it on television. It's not a sport that is designed for television.
Well, you're also not going to have huge car wrecks in the game of Major League Baseball. Yeah. But that there's so many people that fall asleep on their couch watching a baseball game and everything. But, they'll stay awake for a NASCAR game because they just know if they fall asleep, they're going to miss that wreck.
I think there's got to be probably several things that kind of lead into it. I think we've got people with like much less like attention spans. Like you can't pay attention to a 4-hour game of baseball. I mean, you can if you're there. Even there, you're kind of doing other things. You're talking.
You're texting.
But it's funny because that's part of the greatness of the sport, and at the same time, it's kind of its downfall because it's a real relaxed. It's loose. You can just kind of go and have a day at the park, But now, when it's on television, like you're saying, it's kind of a problem because it's not really keeping your attention. And then we're in a highlight age, where basically now you've got more strikeouts than ever because people are gunning for home runs. So you're not seeing a whole lot of people are trying to hit in the gap. So you're not seeing these great diving catches because people are shooting for the fence or striking out. Well, you can't keep showing highlights of people striking out. I mean, that's really...
They're not displaying the true great nature of the game because of the way that the game has become.
And it's kind of changing. They're like, well, if I either hit home run or bust, that's what I'm going to be known for is did I jack out 40 home runs this year?
And there's money involved with that.
Well, even 40 home runs in 162 games, you think about that. It's like, that on any given night, like, let's say a star, like if you go see Steph Curry on a given night, he's most likely going to light it up. He's going to put 20, 30 points on the board. He's going to knock down some cool threes, things like that. A baseball player, you go see Mike Trout, you go and see him one day, he might go 0 for 4. On a great day, he might go 2 for 4.
Or 4 for 4.
But I mean, but that's very unlikely.
Very rare.
I mean, you've made it on a great day if you see him go 4 for 4, and so it's just rare. It's so hit and miss. You don't know what you're going to catch. You don't know who's going to hit a home run that day, and a lot of times you want to see the stars make the plays and do things like that. Baseball, it's kind of spread out. You don't know. Now, the first game of the season this year, it was kind of cool because the very first at bat for Giancarlo Stanton, first at bat, jacks it out, and it was great. I mean, the great moment, but those are just so few and far between. I feel like it's one of those niche things. You brought up NASCAR. I feel like you're either into it or you're not, and that's what it is. It's not going to ever be on this global, like, casual fan thing like it used to be before, and not as much anyway. You're either really into baseball or you just hate it and you're not going to watch it.
Okay, for everybody listening out there who has anything to do with the progression of baseball, soccer's coming after you.
It is. It's coming after it. Hell, what do we watch this week? Cornhole is becoming more popular. They're televising Cornhole championships, professional cornhole. There was even a moment this week on television that they had that damn, that damn slap ball thing? You remember that thing? It was like that round deal and you slap the ball. It's like volleyball rules. Slam ball. You have to slam it. It bounces off, and you have to like strategically. They're televising that.
What's this
it's
like?
A backyard game.
What's this like? Professional pogs or something?
Yeah, like we're just desperate to watch almost anything other than like this should be the heart of baseball season. It's like let's get into baseball. What television programming and ratings is telling us is. We would rather watch something else.
Like soccer.
Well, I mean...
forget soccer. We're right in the middle of July, summer, and I am willing to bet, I haven't got any statistics in front of me, I would be willing to bet that the World Series of Poker drew more viewership on ESPN than any baseball game.
I wouldn't bet against that.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't doubt that it's close. I mean, even if it's close and... the All-Star game of the Major League Baseball, even if they're winning, that's a sad day for their sport.
Yeah, or even something like the E3, the gamers, like, oh, guys, all right, I'm going to kill you with my Fortnite.
No, dude, I've watched that stuff. That. It's kind of fun to watch.
But again, there's an entertainment value to it. Whereas with baseball, and you say soccer's coming after them, yeah, soccer is coming after baseball, but they're not going to eclipse the NBA or the NFL. At
Okay.
least.
No.
Well, they still
again,
no.
there's
You,
only
you missed
so
out
high
the
you
other
can
one.
climb.
Like hockey is hockey above baseball right now?
I wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't go that far yet.
I mean, of course, we're talking about in America. Of course,
Yeah.
in Canada, like
Remember, hockey
obviously, hockey is
had
up
that
there.
moment just a few years ago. It just about went bankrupt. Like, hockey was close.
I guess I didn't
It-
hear that because I was probably too busy not watching hockey.
Exactly. Hockey was real close to. I mean, it was bad. So.
Like kind of like the WNBA, I guess.
Oh yeah. And also currently.
Oh my goodness!
Currently, we said we wouldn't mention much about golf, but right now we're on the final day of the Open. Tiger Woods is
just hit a birdie.
he just hit a birdie, so now he's like in a I don't know how many people tied for first right now, and
No, he's tied for second. He's
even after that birdie shot.
Even if he stays at second, tied for second, whatever,
he a
man,
contender?
Tiger Woods is back.
Yeah, he was behind. He caught up, and so now we're kind of doing the podcast, and we kind of have one eye on what's going on here, just because. I mean, it's Tiger Woods. Otherwise, I don't even think this would be on. We would be watching.
He is
reruns
putting the pressure
of,
on that. Did you see his mannerisms? What they say his name was Mulaney, something like
Yeah, I'm
that.
pretty sure his name wasn't Malaria. It's Molinari. Yeah, he
Oh,
is.
he just took the lead.
However, Molinari just took the
Molinari took the lead.
So
He's
Tiger's now
-7
in
on
sixth.
14.
Dang it.
Tiger's now 2 shots back.
It looks like Tiger's going to fall just short on this thing. Which,
How old is Tiger now? He's got to be 40.
I believe he's 42.
Yeah.
42, somewhere around there.
So he's right there. So this is a big moment for him to be able to come back and even be in the mix.
I
on
thought
something
he
like
would
this.
never come back. I don't care if he's in the top 20.
Yeah.
Go Tiger.
Well, he had
Everybody loves
so
a
many.
comeback.
Just the mental aspect wasn't there, and then of course he had constantly had multiple surgeries and different things.
He had problems with his knee, I believe, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And so it was taking away some of that torque when he was great on the drive, but
Yeah, his drive was probably better than most.
yeah, but it was pretty powerful, and it was doing damage to his body. It seems like so.
I guess his mid game was probably the part that was struggling. But I'm talking about like his greatest years. Like he was always great at the drive, he was always great at the putting, but it was always his mid game that was his downfall. If you want to give Tiger a downfall
In his prime,
Yeah,
I don't
in
even
his
think
prime.
he had a issue with his mid-range game.
Oh, just unstoppable.
probably not. I mean, it's insane how good he was.
Man,
But I mean, of course, right now we're talking about the greatest of all time because of all the things that Jack Nicklaus has done and everybody else that has.
Sure. Well, Tiger's obviously wanting to catch and beat the record for majors. Of course, you got to win one first, and so for him to be in the mix with this one now, it makes it interesting, and it keeps it does keep it relevant as far as, man, can he do it? And he's showing right now that he can be in the mix. I mean, you can dog
He's
him all
got
you
that
can
fire.
dog him all he wants, but now you have to agree he's right there.
He's got that passion back, it looks like.
He's
that he
literally
didn't
a
have.
couple of shots away. So that's pretty amazing.
So, as we're going through this podcast, we're going to be trying to watch this closely as well as go through our information that we have.
Yeah, by the time you listen to this, you'll already know what happened, but this is happening live for us. So there you have it. This week...
This is good practice for
This
us.
week was a big week in sports for Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo was out on a date with I guess it's a high-level porn star this week. TMZ Sports reported.
Stormy Daniels' cousin or something.
No, no, it wasn't her cousin. This lady,
Yeah, she's
is,
no lady.
Lady of the evening, maybe.
She's a
Lady of the
more of a
evening.
Latin descent. Her name is Kiara Mia. If you want,
Kazunte.
if you want to look her up, she's very curvy. I will give her that. But
Hey, big girls need love too, brother.
But Jimmy G was spotted out on a date with this lady. She's 41, and of course Jimmy is 26. So kind of a cougar thing going on, with the porn star.
Age means nothing to me, so.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, unless it makes me go to jail, then.
Well, so what do you think about that? There's the
yes,
picture there.
I don't know. Do we say hooray for the 26-year-old or hooray for her?
Exactly. No, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, Jimmy
That's a
G,
great question.
Here's Jimmy G. He's a starting quarterback
Damn.
now, young in the NFL, and just signed
Can have anybody he wants.
just signed one of the biggest contracts that there is in the NFL. And so he's living large, and then it looks like he's going large.
Literally.
Yeah, so
And when we say 41, is that bus
41.
size or is that age?
that's both.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, it's both. Yeah,
Good
41.
question.
Yeah, 41
Good
bus
looking out
size.
on that one.
All right. I just saw the picture. So.
Goodness. I mean, like, yeah, there's things like orbiting those things. Like,
Yeah, it is. It's got its own system. Man, my gosh, that's a great picture.
it takes a team to work those and, make sure that they do all the right things.
So Jimmy likes it a little freaky, it looks like. Maybe?
I don't know.
Or are they just good talking buddies? Do you think she makes good conversation?
I bet they're
How
not in
far
the
are we
friend
talking
zone.
about? He is now a San Francisco 49er. So
Oh my goodness, he just went there. I think I just picked up what you're throwing down. Holy crap.
Oh, okay. So it looks like she's good with oil. That's good.
Maybe she's his workout buddy.
Is she using that oil to cook? What is she doing What's she doing with that stuff?
Maybe she's his spotter.
It very well could be teaching him some things.
Safety
some pointers.
first, man. Safety first.
It could be
You
part of his
can't-
training season right now, getting ready for the regular season.
Yeah, well, and obviously she's rather fit for a 41-year-old, so she probably can teach him more than his, strength and conditioning coaches.
Absolutely. Well, last week we talked about the Kardashian effect and how people with the Kardashians, it just kind of went downhill from there. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens with the Mia effect, so to speak. If it helps invigorate his game, or if it's now on the downhill.
Is that like the butterfly effect, but it's
Right.
the Mia effect?
It's the Kiara Mia effect. Yeah, I hope I'm saying that right.
That would be terrible if that got put in the Urban Dictionary.
Oh, okay. There's a little bit of video. It looks like she's got some booty skills.
It's like watching waves at the sunset in the amazing.
Yeah,
I didn't know that a woman could do that.
those are some curves. Like, what's she doing behind that back door there? What's she doing?
Like he's probably.
And is
he's
she on
probably
top of
behind
like
there.
some fur? Like, is that a real animal she's on top of there? What is?
Okay,
It's got to be
eventually,
fake.
Eventually, I have to go to
It
the
better be, or
bathroom, and I
Peter
need
will
PETA,
be
yeah,
there.
PETA would be
49ers in this
pissed.
year.
I need to have to
And
be
it's
able to
white
stand
fur.
up. So
And it's white fur. I don't know. There's just some things you can't get out of a.
if you're gonna do those kind of things, you have to make it brown fur.
Right. Because some stains. I'm sorry.
Like,
You
I'm
can't.
sorry, our carpet is white.
Yeah,
Like,
the Tide sticks don't fix everything. I don't know. You can't just get in there and get like a Mr. Clean.
The magic
magic
eraser.
eraser and like, oh God, I gotta scrub that out. Yeah. For the next video.
For the next video, that's what I've always wondered is they have these houses and rooms and stuff that they do these porn videos in. Like, I mean, is that like, do they burn the house or room down, or is like, I guess it's kind of like after a porn, like a stripper like leaves the pole, they go and probably Clorox that pole and everything.
Yeah, I would think it's
One would
similar
hope.
to like, how they have to send in like an asbestos removal team.
with the suits. And
I
everything.
think it's something similar.
Like the AIDS,
it's
the AIDS
No
suits.
one can enter this area until the
some Breaking Bad stuff.
the secretions have been fully removed. I think it's that kind of concept. It involves a lot of black lighting and things.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord, CSI.
So you're saying anytime someone comes out of a house in yellow suits and red bags that it's either a murder scene or they've shot a porn.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
So
Yeah.
Nice.
And,
Okay.
Yeah, out in California, yeah, those are your two options.
it could be both.
Exactly. That's right. Just,
They shoot them out there, we burn them here.
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah, they
too
were.
soon?
Hey, just don't go down to Texas. They, they just stopped killing mentally challenged kids. So,
oh man,
made a ban on that.
Well, that's our fun with Jimmy G. Jimmy G, of course, is in the NFC.
He's fallen a long way from the Tom Brady diet.
Next week, we are going to preview the NFC. We're going to give our predictions on that.
I got some crazy ones.
So that'll give us an opportunity to predict where Jimmy G and the 49ers are going to go and do. And if there's going to be more porn stars in the future, we can predict that too if we want. But
people are going to watch San Francisco games just to see if she's in the stands.
But at this time, we're going to go ahead and preview the AFC. And here we go. We ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Okay, here we go.
3.
We're breaking down the AFC, and we are going to start with the AFC East. We've got the Buffalo Bills. We've got the New York Jets. We've got the Miami Dolphins, and of course, the much-hated New England Patriots.
Who? The Patriots? Who are they?
Have you not heard of them?
No, I was sleeping under a rock.
Oh, okay. Well, glad you're out. Hope everything's fine.
Patrick is doing well, by the way.
Oh, fantastic. That was my quick attempt at a Patrick impersonation.
I would like to say nice, but no, not so much.
So, AFC East, we're gonna try to break it down, give our predictions of who's gonna win. But I mean, I feel like spoiler alert. I mean, I hate this damn division. I hate this damn division so much because I think it's really, really stinking obvious who's going to win this damn division every single year. I feel like it's so freaking unfair.
Oakland Warriors,
like you have
Chicago Bulls.
You have currently the smart team, the smart organization, and then you got the other. We'll take your people off your hands and lose. I don't. It's like. I don't know.
We'll surprise you every now and then.
Yeah, it's just, gosh, it's like you have one team and then you got this going against the Special Olympics in their own division. I mean, I don't know. You can pick however you want, but I feel like this is the division that is like a no-brainer, and it sucks.
Of course, yeah, because you've got, in my mind, who I think is going to win the division, the New York Jets.
Oh yeah,
and then of course you've got
you think Teddy Bridgewater is going to make that much of a difference for the Jets, huh?
And then of course, obviously,
was their quarterback.
Obviously, you've got the Patriots finishing last in this division.
Yeah, with all the turmoil.
But and I just whenever I was thinking about this earlier, I started realizing I've got a humongous crack problem, and I've got to stop this shit.
Right.
So then I put the crack pipe down, and I was like, no, this is the real world. So, yeah, dumb moment.
Right.
Patriots, number 1.
Well, the Jets, a lot of people last year thought the Jets were going to tank, that they were really going to try to tank and get good draft picks so they can rebuild because they've just kind of become shit.
I don't think they were trying. I think they just
but even the Jets kind of messed up tanking. Like, they still won 5 games. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
They even screwed that up.
Please don't win.
If you're going to tank, do it the Cleveland Browns way.
Or the Houston Rockets way.
Don't sit there and win 5 games. That makes you, like...
middle of the draft.
It looks like you even suck at that. That is so embarrassing. I mean...
Well, it's like, how do you, as a coach, as an organization... How do you go and tell your coach, okay, hey, yeah, tell them to go out there and completely suck. Don't tell them that it has no effect on how much money they're going to make in the future. Pitch that to them.
Yeah.
See how well that goes.
Right. Well, I think the Jets, they did have a 5-win season last year. They now have Teddy Bridgewater, who has been kind of gone for a little while. He was with Minnesota. He got hurt. But then
for a while,
he actually came, like last year, he was actually ready to play. But the thing was, Case Keenum was doing such a great job with the Vikings as a third stringer. He came in and was playing such efficient football that you didn't want to screw up the formula, so they kept Bridgewater on the bench. I mean, they really had no choice. It would have been dumb to bring Bridgewater in after being gone that long, and then put him in, and then something happens. But so he's actually had a couple of seasons kind of removed from actually playing football. So it's very intriguing to see what can he do. He had all the potential in the world, and can he do something with this Jets offense that, quite frankly, doesn't have a lot of weapons. Offensive line's really not that great. Defensively, they're building.
I don't think I could tell you one name that I know from the Jets team right now.
Well, I just gave you one.
Well, I mean, besides, yeah. No, come on now. Other than that,
right? I got you. All right.
So I'm kind of feeling like he's got the what do they call it? His knees are knocking.
I'm a Bridgewater fan. I like Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh yeah, he's fun to watch.
I just don't know that he's in an environment he certainly isn't in the same environment he was at in Minnesota, where they're obviously on the rise.
Maybe he needs to send a friend request to Baker Mayfield and be like, "Hey, how are you dealing with this shit?" Right?
Right. So you got the Jets, the Dolphins. The Dolphins were fighting for playoff positioning last year. They were in that 8-8, 9-7 type of range.
They're always going to annoy some people.
But they've also gotten rid of some talent.
Like their fans?
They got rid of Jarvis Landry to the Browns, so they lost their top receiver. Quarterback is still kind of an issue for them.
They had They got Kenny Stills from New Orleans, which I thought was a good pickup. I mean, I think Kenny Stills is so underrated. I mean, I know I'm biased because I'm a huge Sooner fan, but honestly, Kenny Stills he's a beast.
He's really good.
I'll never forget that block he put on a defender in the OU Texas game that year where he just came out of nowhere and just waylaid that punk.
Well, and the Dolphins also got rid of famously Ndamukong Suh from their defensive line, who went to the Rams and made the rich get richer over there because they've got Aaron Donald, arguably the best defensive lineman in the entire league. Now you got Aaron Donald. Of course, now I'm flipping over to NFC, but I'm just saying, now you got Ndamukong Suh that the Dolphins have gotten rid of. So they've really gotten rid of some big-name guys off of a team that was barely fit for the playoffs. I mean, somebody had to make it.
Ndamukong Suh, that is a player that you can mold your entire defense around, like a Lawrence Taylor type.
Yeah.
Oh my,
So this is another team that doesn't really look like they're progressing forward as far as getting better. And
people
then
need to get fired.
And then you've got the Buffalo Bills, who they've got a decent offensive line. They've got LaShawn McCoy, but he's got his own off the field issues. And then there's kind of some questions at quarterback. Remember, they drafted the guy from Wyoming, this Josh Allen kid, that is not proven, hasn't played against any Power 5 conferences. They honestly have nobody has any idea. Even the people in the know really don't know about Josh Allen right now. They don't know if this guy's going to be, your next Carson Wentz, or if he's going to be just another bust in the NFL. So I think it's kind of intriguing as far as the Buffalo Bills, because that's another team that's been fighting for playoff position.
Yeah, and actually doing good moves in the front office. I mean, they are really, because they've moved around a lot of people. I think right now they're sitting with E.J. Manuel. Am I right with that? Or is that one of the because I know they've done a lot of moves with their quarterback play. And E.J. Manuel, I thought, was a really good pickup from Florida State, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And the Buffalo Bills, I've been kind of, even though I've always hated the Buffalo Bills just because I'm getting tired of chokers. So, I mean, we're talking about 4 Super Bowl appearances, 4 Super Bowl losses. So, and their colors are just ugly and it's just stupid. So, but aside from that point,
right?
Which, it's childish, but I don't care. So, I've actually kind of been impressed with the Buffalo Bills, and I've found myself rooting for them.
Yeah.
Awkwardly.
Well, remember they got rid of Tyrod Taylor.
That's who it was, and then they got an EJ Manuel.
And there was a whole issue. Like they benched Tyrod. There was this whole deal. Like Tyrod had shown some promise, but you almost get the feeling like he didn't get. It's almost like he didn't get the full opportunity to really prove himself at quarterback there. So now
I can see that.
So now Tyrod, which we'll talk in a minute, is with the Browns. And he and Baker Mayfield are fighting for quarterback positioning. But so now that Tyrod's gone from the Bills, they've now promoted former Alabama quarterback A.J. McCarron.
Woo!
He's now the starting quarterback for your team.
Talk about hot girlfriends. Good Lord.
Okay, Britt Musburger, calm down.
Good Lord. Have you seen the Carl's Jr. commercial?
But A.J. McCarron has been a backup for a while, and so now he's getting a starting job. I guess maybe until this Josh Allen kid, they figure out what they're going to do with him. But it just seems like the quarterback situation is not very good in Buffalo.
It's good for No, it's good for business. Let's have some. Come on, fight it out, boys. Let's see who's better.
It seems like in NFL, you've got to have a few things going for you. You've got to have a great. You have to have a great front office. You have to have a good offensive line, and obviously I think quarterback has to be solid. And then, of course, your defense has to be decent. Buffalo's got defense.
Would you take a good quarterback versus a good head coach?
I would take a good quarterback, because a lot of times a good quarterback is the coach on the field nowadays.
Yeah, general.
Quarterbacks have become so valuable in this day of football that, I would take a good quarterback. That's the difference maker a lot of times.
Would you take the greatest quarterback versus the greatest coach?
Because I'll tell you what, who do you consider...
Look at your last, within the last 10 years, look at your quarterbacks of the Super Bowl. You're looking at Brady, Manning, Rodgers.
Yeah.
And
then the youngster in Seattle.
You have him, Russell Wilson. But the other caveat to that is you actually saw one of those quarterbacks switch teams and still managed to make two Super Bowls in Peyton Manning.
Yes,
that's right.
Actually, that's a great point. Yes.
Well, and look at it this way: who would you consider a great coach right now in the NFL?
Well, I guess right now my question is: would you take Tom Brady or Belichick? That is Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, even though I hate the little prick, versus possibly the greatest coach of all time.
Well, if you're talking...
And the greatest, I got caught cheating, but I'm still coaching in the NFL.
If you're talking right now, I would take Belichick only because Tom Brady's old. I don't know how much longer Brady's going to last, but if you give me a few years, I would have to take Brady. Because Brady's the one making the decisions on the field. Brady's the one making plays. I think right now, let's keep same coach. Let's say the Bills said we don't want you, A.J. McCarron, and now Brady's not the quarterback. It's A.J. McCarron. Do the Patriots go on and win Super Bowls?
I'm kind of thinking, yeah.
I don't think so.
I'm going to kind of think no, based on the fact
definitely
that
thinking not.
We've seen it with Matt Castle behind the helm. They can win games.
They can win some games,
but they can't win a Super Bowl.
They can't win the big ones.
It's again, it
it's
all
really
it all
tight,
boils
though,
down
isn't
to
it?
you can have that great coaching, that great team, but you have to have that on the field presence, that field general.
Yeah.
Why is it that we're seeing good teams win lots of games, but we're only seeing now? Obviously, last year with the Eagles, you do have the exception with Nick Foles. But you do have excellent coaching there, and you did have really, really solid quarterback play out of both.
Going up against the best quarterback and the
Nick
best.
Foles,
and again, you're not.
Nick
okay,
Foles did
but again,
have some success.
If I roll the dice 15 times, I'm not going to get. I'm not going to roll a 7 every time.
That's a good
Eventually
point.
you're going to, eventually the inferior team, sorry Eagles fans, is going to win. Okay.
I'm not a big Eagles fan anymore, but I was rooting for them because I hate the Patriots more
Same way.
than.
But if you had to bet that game again, which way would you bet if you're going to throw a paycheck down?
Yeah.
So now we move on to the inherent evil that is the Patriots. The Patriots, as far as off seasons go, I feel like had one of the worst off seasons of all the teams in the NFL. This turmoil, this tension that's going on between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and the organization right now is really a big thing. Now, in the end, I mean,
it was there last year.
Spoiler alert,
Right.
I'm picking the Patriots for this division. But I feel like it's going to at least take them down a notch because they did get rid of a couple of very key players. You lose Malcolm Butler from the defense. Of course, he wasn't happy there. You lose, they lose the receiver, Amendola.
Which that's good for me because I liked Amendola when he played for the Rams.
And they also lost. Remember, they brought in Brandon Cooks from New Orleans. They lose Brandon Cooks. So
that's not going to hurt them that much.
You lose a couple of receivers, but eventually it's got to take its toll. You know. Plus, you have
what? Does nobody want to play for the greatest coach and the greatest quarterback of all time?
No, because sometimes greatness is at a cost. I mean, they don't want to go in and play for the boring, the dull. We're on to Cincinnati. We're moving on. We're going to do this. We're doing it the Patriot way. Don't, listen to my doctors, not your doctors. I mean, it's just like, oh my gosh, man. Yeah, it's the players. The players want to have a little more personality, They would rather
Let me
play
be myself.
Man, they'd rather play for like a Harbaugh than they would a Belichick. But they do know that they go in that they're playing for somebody that knows what they're doing and they're going to win. But
wait, which Harbaugh?
Oh, good point. Well, both are great. Both have had great success.
I know, but their coaching styles are pretty they're a little bit different.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think I would rather play for John. If I was a player, I'd rather play for John. He seemed like more of a player's coach.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh's like, you better do what I say or you're going to be, people won't know you exist anymore.
Well, I'm making it official. I'm choosing the evil that is the Patriots for the NFC East. And
that is so bold.
I know, right? I really do want to try to pick some sleepers here, but out of that stupid division, that's why I prefaced it this division sucks, man.
You don't want to make our acronym completely true. So
yeah, the Dolphins are going to win it all. Shoot.
And of course, I'm sure BS over here has got the same thing.
And I do, and I'm going to talk about BS statistics because this is why, not that you have any other reason to pick the Patriots, but you have a perfect example of a NFL scheduling, the rich get richer. Patriots have a first place schedule. This year they are facing the NFC North in their cross-conference rival. They get the two best teams out of the NFC North.
Hold on a second. You're saying the NFC North like it's a handicap.
No. I'm not saying it's a handicap. I'm saying okay.
Oh, I thought you were saying the other way. I'm sorry.
No. The problem I have with it is the Patriots, their home games for the NFC North are the Vikings and the Packers. The top two teams.
Two teams
they get in Foxborough.
That's a really good point.
Okay, the most. Let's forget.
Well, who did they pay off this time?
I'm not sure. Let's forget.
We have another gate coming. We got freaking.
Let's forget your own division because you're home and home on all of those games. Your remaining schedule, the Patriots home games, you get the Texans at home, the Vikings at home, the Packers at home, the Colts and the Chiefs all go to New England.
Well, hey, don't count the Chiefs out because the Chiefs don't care if they're going to, Foxborough.
Not this year. They don't have Alex Smith. You have a rookie. Well, you have a sophomore quarterback who's essentially going to be a rookie. He's got one NFL start behind his belt. So,
well, I'm hoping he's got some fire. But anyways.
But again, the Patriots, you get to go to Jacksonville. You get to go to Detroit. You get to go to Chicago.
Well, so no, if I'm
Steelers.
thinking I would want Jacksonville at home.
Steelers.
I would want Jacksonville at home.
If you're going to play Jacksonville, I don't think their home field advantage is not what I mean. It's Florida.
The fans are not rabid in
Florida
Jacksonville.
Teams, right.
It's sad to say, but true.
Right. They're
Well, and of course, like statistically speaking, I don't know, like if anybody knows this, but I'm pretty sure the St. Louis Rams were the first team ever to win a Super Bowl with a dome as a home.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
And so, like, cold weather teams do way better than warm weather teams.
Well,
If
By
they have
far,
home field advantage,
It's not even close.
if they have home field advantage. So you gotta keep that in mind when you're playing.
Oh yeah, well, like if the Patriots are playing the Jaguars in September in Jacksonville has a shot because New England's like, holy crap, it's hot and muggy.
The humidity, yeah. Oh, the humidity.
Oh, the humidity. That's awesome.
All right, so are we? I want to make it official. Are we in agreement?
Patriots #1.
Not that we have to be in agreement. If you want to go on a limb and pick somebody else out of the East,
No, like the other stuff I was saying was just for a joke, for
all right.
a lark. Or
all right,
whatever.
so Drunk Tim says Patriots. Blair Smith,
Patriots.
and I say Patriots as well. Unfortunately, I hope we're all three wrong.
Oh, hail to the
And
yeah.
I don't even care which of the other teams that does it. Like, I hope we're wrong. I hope this Josh Allen kid for Buffalo turns out to be like the next Elway or something. And they're like,
New England has had problems with Buffalo in the past, so we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if it continues.
So now we move on to the North. The North, of course, has got the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals, and the fun-to-watch Cleveland Browns. This is the black and blue division, they call it. I'd say mainly because of the Steelers and the Ravens and
of course.
that rivalry. So let's start off. We're from Oklahoma City, so of course we have a little bit of interest in Cleveland because our quarterback, our man Baker Mayfield, went to the Browns. First pick, which was kind of a surprise to me. I was surprised that he was the very first pick. I figured he would go much later. I figured he'd go first round, but like much later.
I thought top 10 maybe.
But it just shows how much not only the Browns thought of him, but that the fact that other teams thought of him, that the Browns figured they had to take him #1 or they would lose him to another team.
But of course, look at all the other blunders that they've made over the years. The Notre Dame kid.
Tiger just screwed up another. He's
Was
just
that par?
he is just breaking down right now.
Holy shit! Was that another bogey?
He's at -5. He's pissed. Look at him. Golly, he's mad.
Tiger, clean up your shit.
Oh, he's so close. He's so close. This.
Look at that look on his face. He wants it so bad. That's the Tiger that we fell in love with.
There you go.
But
So,
the ultimate winner here is golf. The fact that Tiger
Yes.
Woods finishes 5 under
Oh,
par
the
on a
ratings
major,
had to soar because of this.
The ratings are going to soar, and
Like I said, we wouldn't even have the channel on this right now if it weren't for Tiger being in the running. So,
Well, whenever you came over to my apartment, this is what I was watching.
right. And normally you're watching porn. So that's really good. Like, that's how much Tiger makes a difference.
You and I both have never had to have vision correcting glasses, so I don't know how you're seeing that shit on my phone.
Yeah. So AFC North, Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns have actually added on. They've added on some weapons, if you want to call it. They've got Josh Gordon coming back. This is going to be, unless he screws it up, and he could. This is going to be Josh Gordon's first year to not be suspended for, let's just call it recreational drug use. So. You
Hold
have
on a second. Is it the performance-enhancing use of the horrible, terrifying effects of marijuana?
Something to that effect. So he's not being suspended any game so far. He's healthy and he's electric. He's got a great skill set at wide receiver. They've added Jarvis Landry, like we mentioned earlier, from the Dolphins. They're #1 receiver. So now you've got two really good receivers for whoever's going to play quarterback to throw to. You've also added Carlos Hyde at running back from the 49ers.
I don't know
who
much
used to
about
play.
him.
He used to play at Ohio State. He's kind of a bruiser. He's a good back.
He's a Big Ten running back.
But essentially, they've also gotten better in their secondary, which is more important. Cleveland's defense should be better this year.
They have to be better.
So, well, yeah, exactly. So their defense is better. They're getting more weapons on offense. And then, of course, you've got the interesting dynamic at quarterback. You've got Tyrod Taylor, who's a little bit of a veteran at this point. And you've got Baker Mayfield, who's exciting, who they brought in as the first pick.
He's motherfucking electric.
So you have, you guys, I'm going to open the floor to you guys. I feel like I'm talking too much. But what do you think about the Cleveland Browns this year?
I think in week 5, if the team planes go down for the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Ravens, the Browns will still not have enough victories to win the division.
Okay. How many wins do you think the Cleveland Browns will get? What's the over-under, you think? Do you think it's maybe 4?
I would say 6.
You think they can win 6?
The over-under, I think, is 6.
Okay.
They open their season at home against the Steelers, and I think they'll be 0-2 at that point.
Okay.
I'm going to put the over. I'm going to say they don't win 4 games.
Really?
I just don't see. There's not enough there.
I could see him winning 5.
You can see them winning 5 games. I'm gonna, I feel like I'm not gonna predict them obviously to win the division, but I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm just gonna go on a limb with this one. I'm gonna predict that they're not gonna be the worst team in the division, and that means what I mean
We're
by
only
that
talking
is
about 4 teams here, though.
right. I feel like that they will be better than the Cincinnati Bengals. I feel like and wins wise, I could see them at that 6 or 7 spot on wins.
Okay, I got to go through this schedule
Wow,
with
that's
you.
hardcore right there.
Yeah.
All right, everybody,
go through
you
this
heard
schedule.
it first.
Okay.
Mr.
No,
Del Fuego.
I got to hear this. Okay, so
Oh, Lordy.
Yeah.
let's take a little bit of time here. Cleveland Browns start the season at home against the Steelers.
Okay.
Win or loss?
I don't think that's automatic. It's first game of the season.
Anything goes.
Anything goes.
Okay,
Any given Sunday.
let's just say 0-1. Week 2 at the Saints.
At the Saints, that's a loss.
That's a loss.
0-2. Week 3 home against the Jets. I'll give you a win.
That's a
there.
win
There's
there.
a win.
Okay, week 4 you're going to the Raiders.
The Raiders are going to suck this year.
You got John Gruden. You got a good quarterback.
It's still first year. It's going to take time.
No, I agree with him on the Gruden.
I call it a win.
X factor.
But remember, I'm the one guy in the room saying the Browns will actually have 6
At
or
the
7
Raiders.
wins. So I say that's one of their wins.
Okay.
I got to go with him on the Raiders. Yeah.
Okay.
John Gruden.
But we're going with Chancellor's opinion here. So
That's
we got
right.
2 wins.
you
Two and
said
two.
chancellors.
So, all right. So, we got week 5.
Yep.
The Ravens at home.
At home,
Loss. Either way, on the road, at home, loss.
I'll call it a loss.
All right. Week 6. Chargers at home.
That's a loss.
All right.
Win.
Week 7 going to Tampa Bay.
Win. So that's 3 and 4.
All right. Week 8 going to Pittsburgh.
Going 2 pit. That's a loss.
Loss.
Okay. All right. Week 9 we got home against the Chiefs.
That's a win.
I'll give you that. Week 11. Week 11 home against the Falcons.
Ooh, that's definitely a loss.
All right.
Loss.
Now,
Falcons are loaded.
so now we finally have a bye week after the 11th week.
That's a win. No, I'm just kidding.
So
It is a win for them probably at this point.
week 12 we're going to the Bengals.
Win.
Think they're gonna win?
Yes.
Cincinnati?
I just said they're going to win.
All
They're,
right.
they're going to finish above the Cincinnati Bengals in that division.
Bengals
Okay.
are going to
That's
suck.
my bold prediction.
All right. Week 13 we're going to the Texans.
Nope, they're going to lose that one.
Win.
Then we've got the Carolina Panthers coming in
Loss.
on December 4th.
Loss.
I'm sorry, December 9th.
In Cleveland,
Carolina going to Cleveland.
cold as fuck.
Yeah.
Is that back-to-back days?
No, these are the weeks.
Oh, okay.
They got Carolina. I think their sixth win would be
They
either
lose.
Carolina or the Bengals.
So
No, they beat the Bengals. They lose to Carolina.
We'll see.
So we're going. Then we've got at Denver.
Boy, at
That's a
Denver,
At
toss-up.
Denver.
that's a loss.
So and then you've got home against the Bengals, and if we're winning in Cincinnati, we should be able to beat that team at home.
Yep.
And then at Baltimore.
So that's 6 and
I
10.
was saying, are you from Ohio or something?
No, I am not.
Oh, I thought you
No, he's
said we.
Well,
talking about
I-
in the scenario we're
in this
talking
Oh,
about.
scenario.
I
yeah.
see what you're
So
saying.
yeah, I'm predicting that Cleveland will have at least 6 wins.
So you came. So
So
y'all
you're
talking
coming up with a
at
6 and 10, and I
or
still
6 and 10.
I still go by, even if you're saying 6 and 10, I don't really agree with you, but I always have the caveat of if we're starting a rookie quarterback, which likely they will, that's also good for an additional 2 losses.
Well, that's why I
So,
said the over/under
for
was
me-
6. I said Cleveland will win 5 games,
Uh-huh.
if I'm not mistaken.
So,
Yeah.
Which I am drunk, Tim, so I very well could be mistaken. There's a good possibility of that happening.
Well, since I'm so not high on the Bengals, let's talk about the Bengals for a second. They've still got Joe Mixon.
Hold on a second. Do they need a lawyer present?
They might. Yeah, Vontae Burfict and Joe Mixon might need a lawyer present for anything that.
That's where all the
said
troublemakers go.
I know.
It's like, oh shit, this guy's an asshole and breaking the law and doing all this stuff. Well, send him to Cincinnati. He'll fill it right in. Why is that coach still there? Are you serious? It's like, hey, you deal with problem children really well and for years.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's another one. Well, fuck. All right. They still pay me, so go ahead. Seriously, that's the only reason why he's still there.
They
Is
paid
because
for-
they keep on giving him money.
They've paid for mediocrity, pretty much.
No,
they-
they had Carson Palmer. They had some good. They had a couple of good teams. No, they had a few good teams.
They went.
but
They
were
went to the
ruined by-
playoffs multiple times
They
years
were
ago,
ruined
and
by
they kept
Carson-
losing the first
because
game
of
of every
Carson
one.
Palmer's
Yeah.
injury problems.
But now last 2 years they've missed the playoffs. So whereas before they were the team that always made it to the playoffs and would find a way to lose, now they're no longer even that team. That tells me that they're now going backwards. They haven't made hardly they've made hardly any moves in any of the positions, which means they're only getting older and they're only getting worse.
What is this? The white flag scenario?
So to me, that's why I try to make a bold prediction. Like at least Cleveland is moving forward. At least Cleveland's trying to
Which
make
is
some
pathetic.
moves. Cincinnati doesn't look like they're doing jack squat. They're so you're either growing or dying, and I just see them dying right now. They have 3 out of 4 road games to start the season, and I just feel like Bengals are really just going to suck it.
Okay, so there are 2 really good hot points, like good things to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals at this point.
Yeah.
Number 1, obviously, their cheerleaders are pretty smoking hot. Number 2, and that's a good point.
I'll have to look them up.
But number 2, their color scheme is fantastic.
You like the Bengals color scheme?
Oh, that black and dark orange. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like Boomer Esiason, all that kind of old school shit.
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
you kind of ho-hum about the Bengals, even though with all their, all the prison people. It's not prison people. It's just all the characters that are,
Yeah.
we'll call them characters.
There should be like some Nazi like old school like propaganda posters made about the Cincinnati Bengals. It's so bad over there. They may be one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Wow. You think Nazi propaganda will help?
That was just something I was throwing out.
Sorry.
there. I thought that might be a good meme. Like throw out some Cincinnati like propaganda World War II memes out there. It might catch some people's eye.
Well, that moves us on to the Baltimore Ravens. Who,
Wait a minute.
what'd
sorry.
you have?
Well, I'm sorry. I thought you were moving to another division.
No, we're staying same division.
Okay.
We're moving on. We're talking about the Baltimore Ravens, who the most significant thing in the offseason was their draft. They picked up Lamar Jackson from Louisville.
Hell yeah.
And so there's some discussion upon Are they going to keep Joe Flacco as the number one guy? Does Lamar Jackson eventually become the number one guy? And how is that going to work? This is a team, in a way, they're similar to the Bengals as far as they haven't really made a lot of moves, so they're only just getting older. So you kind of question whether they're getting better or not. They're kind of at that mid-level where they've either made the playoffs or just barely missed it, that 8-8 range.
They
type
still
of
got
team.
Suggs, right?
They've got Suggs. Yeah, I mean you've got your guys, Eric Weddle. You've got at safety. I mean you got all these guys that have been around for a while.
Well, you also have the problem with the Ravens is you have a mediocre quarterback and they're paying him like one of the top tier quarterbacks in the league.
I thought that they paid him way too much. So as soon as they won that Super Bowl, they gave him like a max contract.
Well, that's what it was. They won the Super Bowl and he got paid for it.
You have got to earn your shit before you get your money.
Well, okay, this sucks. I'm going to argue the other side of that, except for the fact that I do believe he's overpaid. In a way, he did earn it because in those playoffs, there was plays that he made that helped him not only get to the Super Bowl,
yes, sir,
but that also helped them win the Super Bowl.
Oh, I'm going to have to disagree with you here. Okay, let's look at last year, the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
Should they have been in the NFC Championship game?
Yes.
They were good enough.
They were good enough, but the last play of that ball game.
We're talking about the miracle in Minneapolis.
The miracle in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Saints were the Saints probably should have gone on into that game.
Right. Okay. Let's go back to the year, was it 2012, where the Ravens won the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the blackout in New Orleans.
Well, no. Well, forgetting that, let's go back to the game prior to the AFC Championship. I believe they were playing in Denver, and you very nearly had the same play. You had Flacco in the backfield, about to get sacked, and heaves a throw down the sideline, miracle catch, and two defenders screw up, and they go on to win that ball game. That is basically the only reason they were in the Super Bowl, was because of a same miracle catch. Flacco has been barely...
You're saying he's like one of the luckiest quarterbacks ever.
He is very fortunate. I would bet for his career, he's barely, probably 57 to 60% completion percentage.
Yeah,
he's
nobody take just from a fantasy perspective, nobody takes Flacco.
Right.
In a fantasy quarterback draft.
Right.
Nobody takes Flacco.
But he's paid like one of the top quarterbacks of the league, and that contract is, I believe he even signed an extension.
And you only take him on the waiver wire if you're desperate. Like if you know you're playing against one of the worst defenses in the league or something. Like, he's not great. And I know he had the miracle moment himself, but he also did make some big throws in those playoffs. It was just a timing thing. It
was a timing thing, but
that was the best he ever played, and then the timing just worked out where it was time to negotiate a contract, and he got the contract. But like I said, I do believe he's overpaid.
We've kind of talked about smart franchises.
Far.
And again, this goes back to where we were talking earlier in the podcast, where you have those very intelligent executives who know how to run the front office and run the team that don't make these, shoot from the hip decisions of, I have to sign this guy to a long-term contract. Look at what Minnesota Vikings did.
Yeah.
Do they still, they cleaned house. All three quarterbacks are gone.
Yeah.
Again, they realized that they had an excellent team, but their quarterback was not what was going to get them to the Super Bowl. So, you know what? Let's clean house.
Yeah.
Where the Ravens said, we won this, we won the whole damn thing, and it's all of our quarterback's fault that we did it. Well, no, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
You had an excellent team,
well,
and you sacrificed,
all three of us can agree
the team
that
for
it's
that
too much.
quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We can all totally agree that it was way too soon, way too premature. There's no way in hell. I don't even know if he's worth half of the money that he got paid after that Super Bowl win.
Yeah, but, kudos to him. He got it,
The good news is the Browns are in their division.
Yeah, exactly. He's laughing his way to the bank.
So back to the point in case is, how in the hell is he going to keep his job now that this young upstart Heisman hopeful is biting his ankles?
Well, personally, I don't feel like the Ravens are going to do that great. I think it'll be another season where it's kind of a little bit of back and forth. You're going to be about even par as far as wins, losses. And at some point, the fans are going to. I think the fans are going to kind of dictate. I think they're going to come out and be like, "We want to see Lamar Jackson because they want to see their team do better than this." They have a big rivalry against the Steelers. I think the Steelers would be the obvious favorite in the division and in the AFC.
Steelers are going to smash it.
And so I think the Ravens, the fans would want to see, well, let's see if Lamar Jackson's the difference maker. Let's see if he's the guy that can at least get us closer and maybe even sneak a win against Pittsburgh, because the two of them, they hate each other. And they'd love nothing more than to
It's probably
get
one
that
of the-
Flacco guy out of the way,
Probably one of the biggest rivalries in the NFL right now.
Yeah, I love the Steelers Ravens. I mean,
It's entertaining to
you
watch.
see
It's
some
very
real hitting in that game. It's
Right,
awesome.
that's exactly what it is. Those
Yep.
defensive hits. It
It's-
reminds us of old school football.
Yes, it does. And so that moves us on to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are not perfect in any way. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers have really got their own issues to deal with. I mean, the Le'Veon Bell, there's the contract issues that are going on right now. Le'Veon Bell's trying to get paid the maximum that he can get paid, when Pittsburgh's kind of going, that's a lot for a running back. You
mean the number one running back in the world right now?
I know. And so you have a little bit of back and forth going on between these two, and so there's some tension
Idiots.
there. You've
If
got
the Steelers do not give him what he wants, they are fucking stupid.
well, they did lose Todd Haley as their offensive coordinator, so you also wonder how offensively they're going to mesh. What are their plays going to be?
How did they lose
Roethlisberger
him?
isn't getting any younger.
How did they lose Haley?
They fired him.
Yeah,
They fired him?
yeah,
Yes, Roethlisberger and Haley did not get along with each other.
yeah.
So
There we go back to that coach versus quarterback thing. Quarterback won.
Yeah.
the quarterback won, but the problem is their offense was not the problem in Pittsburgh.
No, their
They
defense.
were scoring points.
They were scoring plenty of points.
So,
It was their defense, which they honestly they haven't worked on a whole lot.
No, they have not.
They're supposed to be a little bit improved, but they're not going to be great.
No.
Not like the Steelers defenses that we've known in the past.
The steel curtain.
Yeah, great at linebacker, great in the secondary.
And those fans are just foaming at the mouth. They like all the defenses they have seen that are just nasty and dirty and grinding and all that stuff. You know, those fans are just so pissed.
I think this is another situation where you've got a team that's kind of that they're going to be basically benefiting from a division that's not so competitive this year, kind of like the Patriots, like we were talking about. I mean, you feel free to go on a limb, but I've got to pick Pittsburgh to win this division. I can't. I can't see how the Ravens, unless like Lamar Jackson gets out there and lights it up.
I'm not even picking the Ravens to make the playoffs.
Yeah. So you get
so far right now, in my opinion, we've just like half of the AFC. We've just talked about 2 playoff teams.
Yeah.
The other people, the other teams, they'll just kind of annoy the shit out of them. And,
Yeah.
you know, I feel like the Buffalo Bills are going to annoy the shit out of the Pats, as usual. And
I hate
the Ravens might win 1 out of the 2 games.
And I hate to hash on this again. Steelers gets the same problem that the Patriots did with the NFL scheduling committee. They get their home games against the Patriots, Chiefs, Falcons, and Panthers.
Wow.
Damn.
Those are still tough games, but
You
at
know,
least they're at home.
They're in Pittsburgh.
They'll beat the Chiefs because, as Chance has told me before, the Chiefs have a terrible record versus the Steelers.
Yeah, they can't seem to figure it out
They
against
cannot.
them.
Now, I
Just
will
like
say
the
this.
Steelers can't seem to figure it out against the Patriots.
Right. But we
Like
can beat
the
Landry
Colts
Jones.
finally did.
Right.
So the Chiefs can beat Landry Jones. So if Roethlisberger goes down in week 1, then the Chiefs have a chance in week 2.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
of course, this is all assuming everybody's healthy. You know, that's
Right.
where some of the things can get a little interesting. But
We can make predictions all day long, but
so I
if
officially have the Steelers winning the North.
of
Drunk
course,
Tim?
for sure, yeah, Steelers.
I have
easy.
the Steelers. The only difference is I think between you all, I have the Browns coming in second in that division. I have Steelers, Browns, Ravens.
You have the Browns coming in second?
I'm sorry, Browns, Bengals.
Oh.
Bengals. No, God.
I'm like, wait a minute.
God,
You just
no.
argued
Wow.
with me
No.
about. Oh, wait, the
have-
Browns second. That man,
I
you
have-
went bolder than I did.
Wow.
Steelers,
No.
Bengals, Ravens, Browns.
Nope. Steelers, Ravens, Browns,
My
Bengals.
God, if the Browns got second in that division, I mean, do a parade, right now. I mean,
We will stop doing this podcast.
that would be amazing. So,
Yeah, that would be the ghost of Derek Anderson coming back. By the way, Derek Anderson's still alive. Just nobody knows it.
like, who's that,
Just
man?
nobody knows it.
Oh my goodness. All right, so everybody's
But
official.
I see the Steelers probably winning at least 10, probably 11, though.
All right, so these next two divisions, I think this is where it gets interesting. That's what I was worried about, and that was really one of the reasons why I did the first two divisions first. I
This
feel
one's scary.
like the first two divisions were just like
Cakewalks.
Here's a, hey 5-year-old, who's going to win this division?
Or, like Jimmy Fallon does where he has the puppies go after the food bowls with the different team colors on them.
Right, exactly. It's I
Like
just
they
felt
put-
like it was really easy. Like, I think we're picking them.
Jimmy Fallon put like the steak in the Pats and Steelers bowl and like vegetables in the other team's bowls.
Right. There you go. Yeah, it's a little loaded. So next up, we've got the AFC South. And the South, I feel like overall is just grab a couple of dice, roll them, let's see what happens, and that's the AFC South because you've got the Houston Texans, who you're getting J.J. Watt back.
Deshaun Watson.
You got Deshaun Watson coming back, both from injury, by the way. They were both injured. They went 4-12 last year, which is pretty awful. And you've got some real weapons on offense for the Texans, and then you've got Indianapolis that's got Andrew Luck coming back and considered fully healthy now. You've got Tennessee, the Titans, who did make it to the playoffs, but then got stomped while they were in the playoffs. But they've got a healthy Mariota. They've got all these things going on. And you've got the Jacksonville Jaguars, who really turned it around. They went from 7-9 to 13-3.
One of the greatest turnarounds of all time.
And had one of the best defenses in the league. Blake Bortles wasn't great, but he wasn't so turnover prone. He actually was more of a game manager, I guess, than he has been in the past. But so I feel like this is a division that's wide open, and
It's intriguing.
I'll open the floor, whatever team you want to start with out of that group.
I am flip-flopping
Let's go
this
with
division.
BS.
I am actually, again, bold prediction here. I am saying the Texans are going to win. I think with a healthy Deshaun Watson, they showed some early flashes with him. Now, obviously, J.J. Watt, we know what we get. Deshaun Watson, we only saw just a couple of games before the injury, but we were seeing some pretty impressive things out of him. I'm picking them to win the division. And here's where it gets tricky. I think if we have a true-to-form, pre-injury, healthy Andrew Luck, I think the Colts are coming in second, and that puts the Jags and Titans down at the bottom of the division.
Wow. So you're kind of down on the Jaguars. You think there's gonna be a drop off?
He's saying that the Jags were a fluke, is what he's saying.
Again, it all comes down to quarterback play in the NFL. You can have everything, but if you do not have consistently good quarterback play year to year, you don't see teams repeat without good quarterback play. You see flash in the pan teams that will win with defense one year over another, but they never do it consistently without good quarterback play.
Which
So
kind of sucks because it's kind of taken away from the old adage that defense wins championships. You know,
Yeah.
like my favorite Tampa Bay Bucks with the 3 defensive players winning Super Bowl MVP. I mean, what does this game come to? It kind of makes me sad. Like, my heart cries a lot for the defense.
It's an offensive game. It is. But
It is.
defense still has a very significant role.
That's why I love J.J. Watt. He's the man. He's one of the greatest defensive players of all time.
And he's just a good, solid dude.
And he's
absolutely.
Just,
Yeah, no
Like,
doubt about that.
Are you talking about as a person?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, as a
Yeah.
person, as a human being, he was raised right. just a good person.
He's doing all the right
It's
things.
so hard to not. If somebody were to root against J.J. Watt, I'd probably slap him in the mouth. Because, like, I've seen all the interviews, his family, his brothers, just a great old-fashioned, like, Wisconsin freaking, cheese-loving bunch of people.
Yep. So the Colts with Luck, Luck was when Luck was good, he was real good. I mean, that guy was the highest touted prospect since John Elway coming out during the draft. I mean, that's how
Both of them from Stanford.
Yeah, that's how high they rated this guy. And he's shown that he's a difference maker. They're with him. They're competitive, possibly playoff bound. And then without him, they're a crappy team. I mean, they're like another 4-12 type of team. So you got to wonder what that's going to look like. Is he going to be 100%? Is he going to have the weapons? Are they going to be able to block for him, which has been the problem the whole time? They've never surrounded Andrew. I feel like that's been one of the it's just awful. Absolutely awful that they got rid of Peyton Manning the way they did, but it was in order to get this Andrew Luck guy. And then they never bothered to really surround him with people that protect him, which shows a little bit of the lack of the organization's, I don't know, like they're dumb or whatever. But like, it's like, here you are, you've got this guy who could be potentially this crazy awesome weapon for you,
Hall of Famer,
and you don't really do anything for the guy. You don't really get him any weapons to throw to. You don't really give him a line to block for him, and of course he's getting obliterated.
That's the number one thing. You put the best offensive line. If I'm a front office person, get the number one quarterback in college and possibly future Hall of Famer. You better put like a Dallas Cowboys offensive line around that sucker. I don't care who he has to throw to. You protect him with that front five.
Oh, absolutely.
No question.
Right.
Well,
it all boils down to what they do protecting him, right? Just like you guys said. I mean, right now the problem is with him is they're turning him into not Derek Carr, David Carr.
Yeah.
The older brother.
Yeah. Yep. With the Texans. Yeah.
And he had the same intangible quality that Andrew Luck has, but they refuse to protect him.
Mm-hmm. You can't be doing timing routes all the time where just quick slants, because obviously it's the NFL. The defense is going to figure it out.
I mean, Carr didn't. He lasted 3 years in the NFL behind that offensive line in Houston.
Yeah, I think he had broken the record for the most sacks,
right,
most interceptions,
most hits.
And that's the thing that people say about Andrew Luck is, well, he does throw a lot of touchdowns, but he also throws picks. But a lot of times in those kinds of situations, when sometimes you feel like you have to force plays, especially if you're not getting the right blocking. You feel like you have to force it. If you force it, a lot of times that is going to leave the opportunity available for turnovers. I mean, the greatest way to get turnovers is to put pressure on the quarterback.
Look at what the New York Giants did to the Patriots.
Yeah, it's not to have the greatest cover people in the world per se. It's to get to the quarterback and make him uncomfortable. And that's just, I feel like that's all that's been going on for Andrew Luck. I feel like if he did have the right protection, those interception numbers would go down. I think he's smart enough. The guy came from Stanford, for crying out loud. I think he's smart enough he would be able to figure it out. If he had the time, I feel like he would be able to light up some defenses.
Well, and then of course,
I just don't know that he's going to have that this year. So I can't pick the Colts to do anything significant.
So the only thing you can do with that scenario is you build up a running game, so that way it makes the defense change their ways, but it all stems on the offensive line. If I'm building a team from scratch and I've got the first pick, everyone's going to be picking the quarterbacks and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to pick the offensive line first. I would rather have the 5 best offensive line in the entire league than the best quarterback in the league.
Then moving on, I feel like with the Tennessee Titans, you get Mariota coming back. They've still got a run game with Henry out of Alabama. You've got some receiver play. You've got some defensive play. They're going to be okay. Like, I get the feeling like the Titans are going to be an okay team, and that's all they're going to be. Unfortunately, I'd like to see them get better, but it didn't seem like they really made a lot of improvements in the offseason. So if I had to make a pick for this division, I would pick the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ooh.
Just to go away from the Houston. There was part of me that really thinking about Houston, but I want to be a little bit different. I feel like the defense the Jaguars has will separate them. Plus, they have the run game of Leonard Fournette, which is really, really solid as long as he stays healthy. Now, they did lose a couple of their receivers, so who Bortles is going to throw to, I don't know. Maybe they'll play it safe and they just run the ball a lot and say, Bortles, just don't throw the ball, man. Don't throw the ball, we'll win.
I don't mind a smash mouth team. Like, I love it. Play smash mouth offense and play good defense. Let's bring it. Come on. We'll tell you what our next play is and see if you can stop it.
So, Drunk Tim, who you got? Who you got in this division?
You're not going to like this. I don't think either one of you are going to like this. I got Tennessee winning this division.
Ooh. This is the division that separates us.
This is.
And then I've got Jacksonville. Like, Tennessee and Jacksonville are just going to beat the shit out of each other. And I think that the Colts are a fucking fluke, and I'm tired of hearing about them. They're going to be dead last.
What will be sad is if that's the team that ends up winning the division and we all three end up wrong.
Yes, of course. But
I will say I will be the least wrong because I picked them second in the division.
There you go.
You said Colts number 2.
If the Colts win the division, that would speak only to the greatness of Andrew Luck, I think, at that
yes.
point.
MVP.
Yeah, because there's no way. There's no way they should win that division. All right, so let's move on. I feel like this was the most anticipated division, seeing as how we have a couple of Chiefs fans in the room. We're going to go on to the AFC West, which will also be, I feel like, highly competitive.
Thank you.
I don't feel like there's a clear-cut winner in the division.
And there's been so many seasons where this is the number 1 division in the entire league.
I don't know that will be the case this year,
It's
but
not
it'll still be pretty competitive though.
I already know what the best division in the league is this year. Same as it was last year.
I am going to say the AFC West will be the most competitive division in the NFL this year.
Whoa.
But I am only saying competitive with each other. I'm going to use the term competitive mediocrity for this division.
Competitive mediocrity.
Oh man, what is this? The Pac-12?
Well, let's cover it. Like we've got the Denver Broncos. They've added Case Keenum at quarterback.
Good pickup.
So whatever you think as far as with Case Keenum, you know what you're getting. You've still got that defense, but they did lose Talib, who went to I mentioned earlier, the Rams. The rich keep getting richer. That'll be next week. We talk about the Rams and all their dang pickups, man. This team, but
the AFC is going to be interesting.
But Denver loses Talib on defense. They pick up Case Keenum. They still have Trevor Siemian or Trevor Seaman. I'm just kidding. He's not Seaman. Simeon, who's done good at times and sucked at times, and Paxton Lynch, who has not developed at all at quarterback. That was their draft pick. So you got a defense that's still, I don't think they're as elite as they were. They still have Von Miller, but they're still good. The greatest
defender, well, him or J.J. Watt, best defender in the league.
They're still really good on defense, and then offensively, what are you going to get with them, right? You get a running back by committee. You've got Case Keenum, who doesn't have a big arm, so there's not going to be a lot of deep throws.
No, there's going to be a lot of play action, as it should be if I'm their head coach.
Yeah, a lot of short routes, things like that. We've got your Kansas City Chiefs. They've gotten rid of Alex Smith, who's gone on to go to the Redskins. They're now going to go ahead and they've really just kind of put all their cards on Mahomes out of Texas Tech, who they drafted last year. That he's going to be the quarterback. You've got some intrigue running the football. You've got Tyreek Hill, who's always explosive.
The most exciting player in the NFL
I mean,
to watch.
amazing football player to watch.
He reminds me a lot of Devin Hester with his skill set.
And then
maybe even better, though.
You got to wonder defensively, too. They're now without Marcus Peters and Derek Johnson. That's a big blow to a really good
huge.
defense in Kansas City.
We did pick up Fuller from the Washington Redskins in the Smith trade.
That's right.
So
you have to wonder
think we're
defensively
kind of
where the
lost
Chiefs will be. Yeah.
I mean, that's two really hardcore players. One a really young player and one that's probably on his way out.
And then you've got the L.A. Chargers, the bastard child of Los Angeles. They've got a returning veteran quarterback, of course, in Phillip Rivers.
He's still got at least a few more good years left in him.
They've got great pass rush threats. They've got Joey Bosa, who's only looked fantastic. They drafted him a couple of years ago, and he's been great. So they've got a great pass rush, decent run game with Melvin Ingram. So they're good on defense, pretty good on offense. You've got the veteran at quarterback going for them. And then, of course, the Raiders. You got John Gruden as the new head coach with Derek Carr as the quarterback. He's got good receivers to throw to. He's still got Marshawn Skittles Lynch to hand the ball off to. Their defense has got a couple of stars on it, but they seem to have some gaping holes defensively last year. I don't know that those have actually even been filled. And so you kind of wonder what the Raiders are going to look like. So take it away. What do you guys think about these teams?
Take it down, sir.
Well, I've got, unfortunately, the first team I really started hating in my entire life in the history of my knowing of sports. I've got the Oakland Raiders winning this division.
Really?
Under the amazing, genius level offensive mind of the great John Gruden.
Wow.
I am so happy to see this man come back to coaching.
You're picking the Raiders to win the division.
I am picking the Raiders to win this division. I think that the mentality that this man has, he can go into a place and turn it around like a Parcells type of way. And we've already witnessed what he can do with somebody else's team. He took a defensive team and won a Super Bowl with it that had been teetering on the brink of greatness for at least a handful of years before he got there. And, it took Tony Dungy quite a while for him to get, Tony Dungy, the defensive-minded person, going to the offensive team, and then John Gruden, the offensive person, going to the defensive team. But I'm really worried that I'm wrong about this. But for one thing, I'm a big fan of the fact that Kansas City and Oakland now are, it's interesting and fun to actually watch them play again without, Kansas City's just going to go beat the shit out of them again. So I think that Oakland's going to win and Kansas City's going to give them some fits and win second place.
Okay.
San Diego and then Denver's going to be last.
Denver will be last. Blair?
I find it interesting that you are so high on John Gruden on the transition from Oakland to Tampa Bay when he won, number one, he won a Super Bowl with another coach's players and scheme.
Yes.
And he beat his own team in doing so, who had, let's face it, a really crappy head coach in Bill Callahan to take over for him. So,
well, he's a good coach, just not a good head coach.
He's not a good head coach.
He's a
right.
fantastic college coach. And
all the cards were laid out for John Gruden when he went to Tampa Bay. He was just dealt a royal flush when he was, when he got the Raiders in the Super Bowl, and
it's not like he didn't deserve it though, or earn it.
Right, but again, with all of that, we have the Broncos, who have made some pretty impressive off-season moves, especially when you look at the quarterback position. Huge upgrade from what they had, but not only is it a huge upgrade, it is very consistent, Keenum's abilities with what Peyton Manning's were in their Super Bowl runs. Peyton Manning was smart. He was great at the intermediate routes.
He's totally calculated.
He was calculated and had a noodle arm. And what is Case Keenum? Pretty much calculated with a noodle arm.
Yes, Case Keenum is a gem.
So as long as you can keep the similar system in place that Manning was successful with, and you keep that defense, then you're going on the same track and the proper track that you were in your Super Bowl years. You have the Chargers, who are, if anything, consistent. They haven't been great, but they've
been consistently middle of the road.
They're solid. They're always, again, they kind of let everyone else in the division around them beat each other up, and then they just kind of slide into second place year after year after year.
They do. They're the greatest 8-8 team of all time.
Right. And then you have the Kansas City Chiefs, who, again, I'm calling it a transition from Marcus Peters to Butler as far as at the cornerback position.
I mean, I like Butler, but I really liked Peters.
Everybody liked Peters. Don't get me wrong. Peters was fantastic.
And he's still young. Up and coming.
He was they say it was a locker room cancer, and he was an on-the-field cancer. I mean, how many times did we see him get stupid penalties? Kicking a flag up into the stands or kicking a football into the stands. I know. Now, with Kansas City, you're also transitioning in the quarterback position where we've gone from a field general, just an absolute calculated
one
general,
of the greatest non-turnovering quarterback of all time, to a kid.
Again, what we say is this, kid gunslinger mentality. And everybody wants to, anytime you've got these new young gunslingers, everybody wants to compare them to what Brett Favre is. Who's going to stand back and just sling the ball all around the field.
Well, and keep in mind, this kid's coming from Texas Tech, right? Who is known for the West Coast offense? Like, can you throw a long ball? Like, right. Let's see you and Jason White see how far you can throw the ball.
Exactly. So you're changing mentalities on offense, where you're going from, again, that calculated field general to this gunslinger, and you've got every tool around him that you want to succeed offensively. So it's going to be a very interesting division. That being said, he's still a sophomore quarterback, i.e. rookie. He's got one start under his belt, and that was at Denver, the last game of the season. Let's just say that's a wash. It doesn't even count.
Yeah.
So,
but it's still real play time. It is like real game time.
But all that being said,
who are you picking? Like, if you're about to say your predictions, I'm just gonna say, for the record, I was kind of like I wanted to at least have one pick this week that was kind of
out there.
Like, I didn't want to, because I'm a Kansas City fan, so I didn't want to just be like, yeah, Kansas City's going to win it all. Like, I didn't want to be the hopeless Kansas City Chiefs fan.
I kind of gave that acted shock, like, oh, you pick Oakland? Whoa. Like, a lot of people are not picking Oakland. But at the same time, what do we always say? Quarterbacks win, right? Derek Carr is not a crappy quarterback. And so
he's got the best head coach.
Not last year, but the year before, if I recall, a lot of people were really in love with the Raiders and Derek Carr, and
that offense.
They were about to go really far in the playoffs until he got hurt right at the last minute. So I feel like it's the same Derek quarterback. Carr? I feel like you've got good weapons. Defensively, they could be better. I mean, you got to they do still have holes, but I don't feel like it's too big of a. I mean, I feel like it's a reach, but I don't think it's that huge of a reach. I mean, Gruden is a good coach,
and people forget that the Raiders.
But it's been a long time since he's coached.
The Raiders tied. The Raiders tied the Chiefs that year, but the tiebreaker let the Chiefs win and go and have that bye round. This is a good Raiders. This is, if anything, it's a decent, in between decent and good Raiders team that this veteran head coach is coming in. And just because he hasn't coached in a while, that doesn't mean he doesn't know what to do. Yeah. He does the Gruden quarterback corner. He does all that stuff. He's been coaching, even though he hadn't been paid to be coaching this entire time.
Yeah. So you're officially picking Oakland.
Oakland for the, unfortunately.
Blair?
Well, as I said, after I made all of my good, solid arguments as to why this division is going to just beat the crap out of each other,
Yeah.
it still comes down to, as much as I hate to say it, I believe you are right. Gruden is going to make all the difference in the world in this division. And a healthy Carr is going to as well. Plus, they're playing in, I believe, did they come in third or fourth place in the division last year? So either way, they're playing. The schedule dynamics is going to fall in their favor as
Yes.
far as this season. So I do pick the Raiders to win this division handily.
You picked the Raiders as well
I do
to
think,
win the AFC West.
I think they're going to win it by at least 3 games.
Wow.
I do think the Chargers are going to slide.
What,
in.
Bubba, say that one more time?
I think the Raiders are going to win this division by at least 3 games.
Wow.
Holy shit. Now, he was way more bold than I am.
I am shocked.
I think they might win by a tiebreaker or maybe 1 game.
I am shocked.
I think the Chargers are going to come in second, just like they always do. Again, that they are just, if anything, they're consistent.
They're
They let
annoying.
the other teams in their division beat each other up.
They're really
They
annoying.
start out the year poorly, and then they just slide right in there and always end up second.
They're a
division,
dark horse.
somewhere
They
there.
are.
And then I think the Chiefs and the Broncos are going to battle it out for last in the division. I'm putting the Chiefs ahead of the Broncos, but not by much. It may come down to...
How many games are the Chiefs going to win this year?
I think they're probably a solid 8-8 team, but with a rookie quarterback, I'm going to give them an additional 2 losses, so I'm thinking 6-10. I'm not high on the Chiefs this year.
Wow. This is absolutely amazing. Going into this, I figured Chiefs fans, somebody's choosing the Chiefs to win this division because I feel like it's up for grabs. So this is kind of odd that
It could be, but the Chiefs
you guys are
start
going
out,
for the hated rival, the
Chiefs
Raiders.
Go,
right?
Chiefs start out at not San Diego, Jesus. They start out against the Chargers in L.A. I'm going to call that a loss.
That's game 1.
I'm going to say 0-1. Then we go to Pittsburgh. I'm going to have to say 0-2.
That's tough.
Then we come home for our home opener against San Francisco.
Win.
Oh, I don't know about that. San Francisco coming off a 5-game win streak last year with Garoppolo.
I would still pick the Chiefs to win that game. There's no guarantees
Arrowhead-
on the 49ers right
Arrowhead,
now.
one of the loudest stadiums
But
in the
here's
in the
my
league.
problem with that is, again, we have a rookie quarterback who is coming off of an 0-2 start. He is going to – this is his time to shine in front of his home fans.
Or screw
The
up.
pressure is going to be on him like he has never felt in his life. That is a perfect storm for screw up.
But it's also the perfect storm for he does extremely well and he gets his groove
Lives to the
back.
moment.
Truly,
yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
and then from that point on,
and
like
again,
we're carrying
that
it over
could be the
to the
difference
next
in their
games.
season. That could be they could go from a 10-6 season to a 6-10 season right there.
I agree. Yeah.
If they start
That's a
out if they start
pinnacle.
out 0-3, I believe the best they're going to do is 6-10.
Well, here,
If they win that game and he has a good showing, possibly 8-8. I just don't.
I
see
can
it.
understand like you're 6-10 and 10-6. That's a big margin.
Right,
I
right,
would
but you know what
go.
I'm
Well,
saying.
let's say at least 9-7, 7-9 maybe.
So I don't see it out of my Chiefs this year. I wish I could, but from a realistic standpoint, they're playing a first place schedule. Remember, their first place schedule, they got screwed. They have to go to New England and to Pittsburgh this year.
Yeah.
So,
All right, so here-
along with all of the other teams.
here's what I think. And this is tough because everything within my being coming into today wants to pick the Chiefs to win the division. Because defensively, I feel like they're right there. They're a lot of times people forget about their defense. It's always underrated. Even in fantasy, you
They
can
still
always
have Poe,
you
right?
can always pick up their defense in fantasy and do some damage. And people, oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Chiefs. Dang it, their defense, they're so good. But they did lose 2 significant guys on defense. They picked up the one, but you wonder how that's going to gel.
I think it gels better.
And
though.
they lost. They lost their leader on defense by losing Johnson.
Yeah.
Well, no, your leader on defense is Eric Berry.
Yeah, Eric Berry is
Well,
the
true.
leader.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You lose
leader,
him, and
he was,
But
we
him
lost
and
him.
Johnson,
Did we lose him week 1 of the season last year?
2 or 3.
I don't remember when we
I don't
lost
think
them
it
last
wasn't the first. It wasn't the first week.
They still played
But it
good
was one of the
defense
first
even
ones.
without him.
So yeah, they did. But getting him back is, I think, is more important.
They're really good defensively. Andy Reid is going to play. I don't feel like they're going to fully open up the playbook with Mahomes. I feel like they're still going to run a lot of dosage of Kareem Hunt, which is going to keep them in games, which will, I think, get Hunt a lot of yards, and plus he can catch the ball out of the backfield. The only problem is I think they still lack weapons. You got Tyreek Hill, but the entire league knows that they have Tyreek Hill. Like, essentially, they defend Tyreek Hill and say, beat us with someone else. You've got Travis Kelce, who's a playmaker at tight end, but otherwise...
I'm sorry, he's probably the most consistent playmaker at tight end in the NFL.
Oh, Kelce?
You have Gronk, who
Kelce is
who
great,
better,
but he's fallen off
But
lately.
Gronk is injury prone. So I would take...
Delaney Walker?
I would take Kelce over Gronk.
No love for Delaney Walker. But Travis Kelce's a beast. I think the Chiefs will still be kind of ho-hum on offense, and there's just nothing. Man, the Mahomes thing, man, that could be like the greatest thing to happen in Kansas City ever, or who knows? I mean, because we just haven't seen any Texas Tech quarterbacks come in and
I don't want
do
him
anything
to be,
great in the league.
I don't want him to be the greatest thing ever. I don't want it at all.
But they need it to. Their offense is stagnant. I mean, isn't that why? I mean, otherwise, why did you get rid of Alex Smith? If you wanted to play your ho-hum, let's run the ball and dink and dunk thing,
Play action all
you
the
would have
time.
just kept Alex Smith. You know he's not going to turn the ball over, and that's all he's going to do. It seems
Baker
like
Mayfield.
It seems like you're moving to Mahomes so that you can at least open up your offense at least a little bit to do some things differently and be more explosive.
You know how
You
crazy
just have to wonder
the
if
Chiefs'
he's the
offense
guy.
would be if they had Baker Mayfield on, like at the helm. Like you've got Baker Mayfield's speed and unpredictability, and Tyreek Hill, and the running game. Oh my God, it would be scary to have a Kansas City Chiefs offense run by Baker Mayfield.
That's an OU fan there.
That's right.
It looked just like Tennessee's offense. That's what it would look like.
As much as I like the Chiefs,
The Titans don't have Tyreek Hill.
as much as I like the Chiefs, I have to choose them in second place of this division, and they are going to be second place to the LA Chargers. I'm picking the LA Chargers.
Look, I even wrote down San Diego because, like, I'm like, it's gonna take me a while to.
I think
to
you've got
get
the
that they're
you've
still
got
in
the
the-
veteran at quarterback. Now I feel like this is going to bite me in the ass because people pick the Chargers all the time, and they always underwhelm you. But I can't see any of these teams really like being special this year. But I feel like you've got Phillip Rivers, you've got the pass rush on defense, you do have some weapons there in LA, so I feel like they could do some good things on both sides of the ball. I feel like LA is the choice out of this division. I don't know that they're up at that level with like the Steelers or Patriots or whatever, but I feel like they're definitely the team to come out of the West. So that's my choice is the LA Chargers out of the West. And you guys have got the Raiders. So
So we all picked LA then.
we all picked LA? Yeah. All right, so then we've got playoffs. Let's see, who do you think the two teams are getting to the end to the AFC championship game when it's all said and done?
Oh, I haven't even thought about the playoffs yet. I mean, you still very nearly have to go with Pittsburgh and New England. This is a year, again, they're far and away the two best teams in their divisions.
Yeah.
So you're looking at most likely those are your two teams with home field advantage. I understand they had that last year, and somehow Jacksonville snuck in there. And I'd say somehow they did it by defense, but I don't see that happening again this year. I'm going to say that you're going to see the same two teams in the AFC Championship due to home field advantage. The other teams, the other two leaders across the other two divisions, I just don't see having enough of anything to compete with those two.
Okay, so you're thinking the Patriots and the Steelers in the championship game?
I am.
Okay. Oh, it is difficult because it's kind of hard. It stinks because those, like I said before, those two teams really do benefit from really being in some suck-ass divisions.
Right.
And so record-wise, they're already going to be ahead of the curve by taking out their own division pretty easily. Those
Pretty
are some
handily.
wins that they're going to be able to get. So they're going to have at least some home field advantage in there. I just hate to, gosh, it's hard to not go with the grain. You know, it's like with Pittsburgh and New England. But at the same time, it's like New England, I don't feel like it's going to be as good this year. I feel like we are
see
going
it
to.
too.
But
I feel like we're going
how
to
many
see a
years have we
drop
said
off.
that, though?
11 games.
I know. How many years have we said that?
11 games for the Patriots.
That they'll win 11-5? That sounds about right. Like what everybody would predict.
If they only hit 10, then it's a failure for them.
I'm just to be different, I'm going to, and this really is for the sake of being different, I'm going to pick a Pittsburgh LA Chargers AFC Championship game.
Holy
Wow.
shit, fuck.
That's what I'm going to pick. Phillip Rivers finally gets to an AFC Championship game.
Man, that gives me a lot of hope for my life. I feel like I could become a professional ice dancer now.
Yeah?
I totally see it happening. I mean,
What is he saying, Blades of Glory? If you can dream it, you can do it.
right? I mean, to me, I feel like, for one thing, the West is easily the best and most competitive division in the AFC.
So who you got playing in the West?
Wait.
or
You think the West is the best division?
Yes, like overall, like there's going to be more competition throughout that division than there is going to be in any other of the. Well, the South is pretty hardcore.
Okay. Now I say there's more competition. I just don't know if I agree that it's the best division.
Yeah, I mean, because you have so many dynamics in the West. The difference of quarterback play, and of course, you know, there's things that have not been proven that, you know, we will see as the weeks go on. But I think it's just an obvious, to me, it just looks like it's another obvious Pats Steelers AFC Championship game. Pats go to the Super Bowl.
I feel like you're riding on my coattails.
So Blair, you feel like
I already
Pats
said
Steelers?
I'm sorry.
Well, those are the obvious.
It's just
Those dudes seem to be the obvious.
Oh,
So
yeah,
you both pick
I-
Pats and Steelers in the AFC Championship
It's
game.
embarrassingly obvious.
in Foxborough.
Oh, that's where I disagree with you. I'm saying
You think it's in
gonna-
Pittsburgh?
You
I-
think
I'm
it's in
thinking it's in
Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh.
All right, I'll take it in
I-
Foxborough.
All right.
See, now I think next week when we start talking about the NFC, I think that I bet you our opinions will be a lot different.
The NFC is big
Wide
time.
open.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
The AFC is kind of boring right now, so to be honest, come on now, put your cards out there.
That's right. So both Drunk Tim and Blair have the Pats and Steelers in the AFC Championship game. I've got the Steelers and the LA Chargers in the AFC Championship game. I think that would be played in, please God, let it be in Pittsburgh, because, dear God, the Chargers are playing in a damn soccer stadium, for crying out loud. That would be embarrassing if the AFC Championship game was played on a soccer field
Well, but hold on a
in
second.
LA.
Hold on a second. Don't soccer fields hold more people?
No, this thing only holds like 30,000 people.
Like soccer fields are known for holding like 100-something thousand people.
In countries where they care, like this is LA, man. Like they don't care. This is like the LA Galaxy field, man.
They had David Beckham for a little
I
bit.
mean, hell, the fact that it holds 30,000 people, you're like, damn, where are they going to get those people from? But like, I mean, most stadiums are like 65, 70,000 for the NFL. You know, kind of varies. But
I think the Cowboys have the largest stadium.
I think so. I think they hold like 90, something like that,
It's
because
like
it's so
100,000.
big. Yeah. So, but most stadiums are in that 65, 70,000 range That's your typical NFL one.
Which is crazy because like college stadiums hold more people than professional stadiums had. Because of all the money, the booths.
And here's what's sad about my prediction, and this is weird in and of itself. The Chargers are notorious for a lot of times with their home games, they have a lot of fans that are there in jerseys for the other team. So think about that AFC Championship game if it was in LA on this 30,000 seat soccer field, and then like half the stadium is in like Pittsburgh black and gold. Like, how embarrassing would that be? As a matter of fact, I'll say that. That's the AFC Championship game. LA Chargers against the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's in LA, and half the stadium will be in black and gold. Rooting for the Steelers. It won't even be a home game.
It's going to be like
a neutral site game. And they'll have to add to the speakers like fans screaming in order to help like get the like, God, we've only got 30,000 people in here.
That's awesome.
Holy shit.
Well, now
the poor Chargers.
Shit.
I'm going to put it out there right now, and I didn't even think about this before. I've mentioned this months ago. But we're in Oklahoma City. We've stolen a team before. I'm putting it out there. Dean Spanos, bring your damn team to Oklahoma City. Bring the Chargers to Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City Chargers.
We would back this team 100%. LA does not want you, if it's not obvious by now. LA does not want you. You are the bastard stepchild of that city, and you know it. Come to Oklahoma City. We would love you. We would follow you. We would buy your gear and totally support you. Chargers to Oklahoma City right now. Hashtag Chargers to OKC. Boom.
Put it on the billboards. You're not even seeing the big picture. The Oklahoma City Chargers and the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I love it.
Like, we're all weather, motherfucker. Like,
I'm just saying, man.
Lightning and the Thunder.
The Chargers get literally like zero respect in LA. It's a Rams town.
We'll be going for the Tampa Bay Lightning next.
And I'm just
right.
I'm just saying, man. Give us the Chargers. We've got land. We can build a stadium. Let's get it, man.
Maybe we can get the Seattle Storm. Oh wait.
Oh. Yeah, anything to do with weather. We want it. Anything. So.
And ladies and gentlemen, he says that wearing a Viking shirt.
That is correct.
Go Vikes.
That's the one game I've actually been to in person. So yeah, that was good too.
I've actually been a Vikings fan for over 20 years.
I've not. I don't have a team. So that is our AFC breakdown. Those are our AFC predictions. It's down. It's official. It's on paper. Next week, we cover the NFC and whatever other topics that may arise during the week. Thanks for listening. You all have a great week. This is Chance Del Fuego.
This is Drunk Tim.
And
Blair Smith.
All right. You all have a great one. Thank you.